Hey everyone! Welcome back to the English Connect podcast, the place where we learn English through real, honest human conversations. I'm your host, Sophia, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Jason.
Hey, Sophia. Hey, everyone. Really glad to be here today.
Jason, how are you doing? How's life been this week?
Honestly, Sophia, this week hit me with one of those uncomfortable realizations, the kind you can't unhave once it lands.
Oh, what happened?
So I was sitting on my couch on Saturday evening, phone in hand, and I picked up my phone at around 2 in the afternoon to just check something quickly. And when I next looked up at the clock, it was nearly 7 p.m.
5 hours.
5 hours, Sophia. Gone. Not to a movie I chose, not to a conversation I enjoyed, not to a book or a walk or time with someone I love, just gone into a screen. And the worst part, I couldn't even tell you what I looked at. I have no memory of anything specific, just 5 hours of nothing.
That feeling after, describe it, because I think people know it.
Empty. Actually empty. Like I'd eaten an enormous amount of food that had zero nutritional value. Full and malnourished at the same time.
And you sat with that feeling and thought,
I thought, this is not the life I want to be living, and this is not the first Saturday I've lost this way. And if I don't change something, it won't be the last.
Jason, I think that moment, that specific, uncomfortable moment of honesty with yourself on a Saturday evening is something so many people have had, or something they've been quietly avoiding having.
Because it's easier not to look at it. It's easier to just pick the phone back up.
But something stopped you this time.
Something stopped me. And I spent the rest of that evening, actually the rest of it, present, thinking, asking myself, what do I actually want to be doing with my life? What would a well-spent day look like? What am I choosing instead of choosing that?
And those questions are exactly where today's conversation begins.
Because here's the truth. Most of us are not lazy. We're not unmotivated. We're not failures. We are simply spending the currency of our lives on things that don't give us anything back. And we often don't even realize we're doing it.
And time is the one currency that cannot be refunded, borrowed, or earned back. Once it's spent, it's gone.
Which is either terrifying or clarifying, depending on how you choose to look at it.
Today, we're choosing clarifying because we are not here to make anyone feel guilty. We're here to have the honest conversation that turns awareness into action.
Today's episode is called Stop Wasting Your Life. Do these 7 things instead. And each of the 7 things we're talking about today is something I wish someone had sat me down and explained clearly 10 years ago.
Real, specific, genuinely life-changing things. Not vague advice, not toxic positivity. Actual things you can begin doing differently before this episode is over.
Here's what we have lined up. Sophia and I are going to have a genuine, honest conversation about what wasting your life actually looks like and the 7 concrete things you can do instead.
Then, we'll break down 5 vocabulary words and phrases to grow your English.
And we'll close with a challenge that just might change the way you spend your next 24 hours.
Before we get in, if this podcast has ever been the conversation you needed at the right time, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs this one today.
And here's our question for you right now. When was the last time you ended a day feeling genuinely satisfied with how you spent it? Hold that question. We'll come back to it. Let's go.
Okay, Jason, before we get to the 7 things, let's name the elephant in the room, honestly. What does wasting your life actually look like? Because I don't think most people think of themselves as someone who is wasting their life.
No, because wasting your life sounds dramatic. It sounds like you've made catastrophically wrong decisions. It sounds like a headline. But the reality is so much quieter and so much more ordinary than that.
It's not one big wrong turn. It's 1,000 small choices that compound into a life you didn't quite choose.
Exactly. It's the Sunday you spent entirely in bed scrolling. It's the year you said you'd work on your health after things calmed down. It's the friendship you meant to nurture but just let drift. It's the dream you keep pushing to someday.
And none of those things feel like disasters in the moment. They feel like rest, or practicality, or just getting through the week.
which is why it sneaks up on you. You don't notice until you're sitting on a couch at 7 p.m. on a Saturday, wondering where the afternoon went.
So let's talk about the 7 things, not as a checklist, not as rules, but as an honest conversation about what actually makes a life feel well spent.
Let's do it.
Okay, thing number 1, and this is the foundation of everything else. Know what you actually want, not what you think you should want, not what looks good, what you actually want.
This sounds so basic, but it's shocking how few people can actually answer this question clearly.
Because we've been shaped so heavily by what other people want for us, our parents, our culture, our social media feeds. We absorb other people's definitions of success and then spend years chasing something that was never actually ours.
And we reach it, sometimes we actually reach it, and we feel nothing, or not what we expected, because the destination didn't belong to us in the first place.
I had a version of this. In my mid-20s, I was on a career path that looked great from the outside. Good title, decent money, impressive to mention at dinner parties. And I was miserable.
Because it wasn't yours.
It was my idea of what a successful person was supposed to do, not what Sophia actually wanted. And the day I admitted that to myself was genuinely frightening, because it meant I had to dismantle something I'd worked hard to build.
But necessary.
Completely necessary. So the first thing, before any of the other 6 can work, is radical honesty about what you actually value. What kind of days do you want to be living? What would a genuinely good year look like for you, specifically? Not for Instagram, for you.
And that requires sitting with yourself in the quiet, which a lot of people actively avoid.
Because in the quiet, the honest answers come, and honest answers require change.
Okay, thing number 2, and this one is urgent. Stop treating your energy like it's unlimited.
Oh, this one, yes.
So we talk a lot about time management, but I think the real crisis for most people isn't time, it's energy. You can have 24 hours in a day, but if you spend the first 6 hours of it on things that drain you, you have nothing left for the things that matter.
And we've normalized being depleted. We've made exhaustion a status symbol. I'm so busy is worn like a badge of honor.
As if being constantly drained is proof that you're important.
But what does a drained person actually produce? What kind of parent, partner, friend, or creator do they show up as?
A diminished one, and they know it, and they feel guilty about it, which drains them further.
It's a cycle. So what breaks the cycle?
Becoming genuinely protective of your energy, learning what fills you and what empties you, and making choices, sometimes hard choices, sometimes uncomfortable ones, based on that knowledge.
That might mean saying no to things you used to say yes automatically. Social events you attend from obligation, not desire. Commitments that made sense once but no longer do. Relationships that consistently take without giving.
And it might mean fiercely protecting the things that do fill you. The morning walk, the creative project, the lunch with a friend who makes you laugh until you can't breathe.
Those aren't luxuries. Those are the things that make you functional and alive for everything else.
Treat your energy like the finite, precious resource it is. Because it is.
Thing number 3, and I feel strongly about this one. Do the thing that scares you, the one you keep putting off. That thing specifically.
You're not letting anyone off the hook today, are you?
I am not. Because here is what I have observed in my own life and in almost every honest conversation I have with people. The thing that is most alive in you, the thing you most want to do or try or become, is almost always connected to the thing that scares you most.
The two are the same thing.
The desire and the fear point at the exact same target, and every day you don't move toward it, the fear grows a little stronger, and the desire gets a little quieter.
Until one day the desire is barely audible.
And that's the real waste. Not the hours on a phone, not even the years on the wrong career path. The real waste is when someone's most alive, most authentic impulse gets slowly extinguished by accumulated avoidance.
That's devastating to think about.
It is. So the thing that scares you, that's your compass, not away, from, toward.
Even if you don't feel ready.
Especially if you don't feel ready, because as we've talked about before on this show, readiness doesn't come before the doing, it comes from the doing.
Okay, number 4. And this one changed my life when I truly understood it. Invest in your relationships like they are your most important asset, because they are.
Research on this is extraordinarily consistent. The longest, most comprehensive study on human happiness, the Harvard Study of Adult Development, which followed people for over 80 years, found one thing above all others that predicted whether someone lived a long, healthy, happy life.
And it wasn't wealth, it wasn't achievement, it wasn't fitness.
It was the quality of their relationships, the depth of their connections, whether they had people in their lives they could truly lean on.
And yet, what do we actually invest our best energy in?
Work, productivity, optimization, our phones. Things that have never once been shown to be the primary predictor of human happiness and longevity.
We treat relationships like they'll take care of themselves, like the people we love will just always be there, so we don't need to tend to that garden actively.
But relationships are not self-sustaining. They need attention, presence, intentionality. They need you to show up, not perfectly, not elaborately, just genuinely.
And the opposite is true too. Loneliness, chronic loneliness, is one of the most harmful things a human being can experience. Studies have compared it to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of health impact.
So investing in connection isn't soft or sentimental. It is one of the most pragmatically intelligent things you can do for your own life.
Send the message, make the call, plan the visit, show up. Don't wait until things calm down. Things will not calm down.
The best time to tend a relationship is before you need it desperately.
Number 5, and this is one people resist but deeply need. Protect your attention like it is your life, because increasingly it is.
We are living through the greatest attention crisis in human history. Every app, every platform, every notification has been engineered by teams of the most intelligent people on Earth, specifically to capture and hold your focus.
And they are extraordinarily good at it.
Your attention is not just being distracted, it's being harvested, sold, monetized, and what you pay attention to shapes who you become.
This is not an exaggeration. Neuroscience is increasingly clear that the brain is shaped by what it repeatedly focuses on. What you attend to becomes what you think about. What you think about becomes who you are.
So, if you spend 6 hours a day in reactive, shallow, stimulus response mode, constantly refreshing, scrolling, reacting, that is the mind you are building, a reactive, shallow, easily distracted mind.
And then you wonder why deep work feels hard, why you can't concentrate, why you feel anxious without your phone, why you struggle to be present in a conversation.
Your attention has been trained away from depth, deliberately, by systems that profit from your distraction.
So what do?
You reclaim it, deliberately. You create windows of time where you are genuinely unreachable. You read long things. You have long conversations. You sit with a problem long enough to actually think it through. You practice presence.
And it feels uncomfortable at first because your brain has been conditioned for constant stimulation. The quiet feels wrong.
But stay in the quiet. Let it be uncomfortable. Because on the other side of that discomfort is the ability to think deeply, create meaningfully, and be truly present for the people and experiences of your life.
That is worth more than anything in any feed.
Number 6, and this one is perhaps the most quietly radical of all. Decide what enough looks like, and then stop there.
Oh, this is a big one.
We are living in a culture of relentless more. More money, more followers, more status, more achievements, more stuff. And the goalpost for enough is always moving. You get the thing, and there's immediately a better version of the thing to want.
It's a hedonic treadmill. You run, and the scenery never actually changes.
And the people caught on this treadmill, and many of them are externally very successful, are often some of the most quietly unhappy people you will ever meet, because they have never asked themselves the question that changes everything.
Which is,
How much is enough for me, specifically, not for society, not for people who know me, for me.
and then being able to say, I have that, or I am on my way to that, and I can rest in this. I can enjoy this. I don't have to keep running.
There's a story I think about often. A wealthy businessman was talking to a writer who lived in a small house by the sea. The businessman said, "You should grow your platform, reach more people, make more money." And the writer said, "Why?" The businessman said, "So you could eventually retire to somewhere peaceful and quiet and write what you love." And the writer looked at the sea and said, "What do you think I'm doing right now?"
Wow.
Someone who has defined enough can recognize when they have it. Someone who hasn't will always feel like they're behind.
And that feeling of being behind, of perpetual inadequacy, that is one of the most corrosive things a human being can carry through a life.
Decide what enough looks like. Write it down if you have to. And when you get there, or when you're already there and don't know it, let yourself land.
Okay, number 7. And Jason, I want you to take this one, because I think it's the one you need to hear most right now, after your Saturday.
Hit me. Number 7. Show up fully for the life that is actually in front of you. Not the one in your phone, not the one in your head, this one, right now.
That's the one.
Because here's what your Saturday was really about. It wasn't just about time wasted on a screen. It was about being physically in your apartment, but mentally somewhere else entirely, in other people's stories, other people's opinions, other people's carefully constructed versions of their lives.
While my actual life was sitting there, unattended.
Your actual life was sitting there. The couch you were on, the light coming through the window, the quiet, the possibility of a walk, a call to someone you love, a book, a meal you made slowly, a thought you followed all the way to the end.
None of which requires anything. No money, no preparation, no special equipment. Just presence.
And presence is the most radical act in the modern world because everything around us is designed to pull you out of it.
I think about the moments in my life that I will remember when I'm old, and none of them involve a screen. They involve being somewhere, fully. A conversation where time disappeared. A meal that lasted 3 hours. A walk where I noticed things I'd never noticed before.
The moments that make a life feel like a life are almost always moments of full presence.
And they're available every single day, in the ordinary.
The friend you could call right now, the sunset that happens whether you watch it or not, the food in front of you that you could actually taste instead of photographing, the conversation you could be in completely instead of half in, half somewhere else.
We keep waiting for life to get extraordinary before we show up for it, but the extraordinary is hidden inside the ordinary. You just have to be present enough to find it.
So, 7 things. Know what you actually want, protect your energy, do the thing that scares you, invest in your relationships, protect your attention, define enough, and show up fully for the life in front of you.
None of these require money. None require a specific age or stage of life. None require perfect conditions.
They require a decision, made today and then again tomorrow, and the day after that.
Because this is not about a dramatic transformation. It's about 1,000 small daily choices that compound over time into a life you actually chose.
And you are choosing right now, with every hour, with every decision about where your attention goes, with every yes and every no.
The question is just whether you're choosing consciously or by default.
And that distinction is everything.
All right, everyone. Let's look at 5 words and phrases from today's conversation that will help you express powerful ideas in natural, fluent English.
First, compound, as in small choices that compound.
Meaning, To compound means to grow or intensify over time by continuously building on what came before. When something compounds, it doesn't just add, it multiplies. In finance, interest compounds when you earn interest on your interest. In life, your daily choices compound into habits, habits compound into character, and character compounds into a life. Small inputs, repeated consistently, produce disproportionately large outcomes over time.
Example sentence. She didn't see dramatic changes in the first few months, but she understood that small, consistent choices compound over time, and 2 years later, her life looked completely different.
Number 2, hedonic treadmill.
Meaning, the hedonic treadmill is a psychological concept describing the human tendency to quickly return to a stable level of happiness after major positive or negative life events. It's called a treadmill because no matter how fast you run, no matter what you achieve or acquire, you end up back at the same emotional baseline. You get the promotion, the house, the relationship you wanted, feel good briefly, then adapt and want something more.
Example sentence. He realized he had been on a hedonic treadmill for years. Each raise gave him a brief rush of satisfaction before he was already thinking about the next one, never actually stopping to feel content.
Number 3, presence, as in being present.
Meaning, presence means being fully attentive, engaged, and aware in the current moment, mentally and emotionally, not just physically. To be present is to have your attention fully on where you are and who you are with, rather than distracted by your phone, your worries, your plans, or other people's lives. In today's world, presence is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable.
Example sentence. She put her phone in another room during dinner, and the quality of conversation with her family improved immediately. True presence, she realized, was a gift she had been withholding without knowing it.
Number 4, intentionality.
Meaning, intentionality means doing things on purpose, with deliberate thought and direction, rather than by habit, default, or external pressure. An intentional life is one where your choices reflect your actual values and goals. The opposite of intentionality is living reactively, letting the loudest thing in front of you determine what you do next.
Example sentence. After years of feeling like life was just happening to him, he started practicing intentionality. Each Sunday, he would decide how he wanted to spend the week, rather than waking up each day and just reacting to whatever came.
And number 5, corrosive.
Meaning, corrosive literally means something that gradually destroys or eats away at a surface, like acid on metal. When we use it to describe emotions or experiences, we mean something that slowly but persistently damages a person from the inside. A corrosive feeling is one that doesn't hurt dramatically all at once, but quietly wears away at your well-being, relationships, or sense of self over time.
Example sentence. The most corrosive thing wasn't the failure itself. It was the story he kept telling himself about what the failure meant as a person. That quiet, persistent voice was doing far more damage than the event ever had.
Jason, how are you feeling after this one?
Honestly, like I owe my Saturday self an apology and a plan.
I love that. Not guilt, a plan.
Because guilt without action is just more wasted time.
Exactly right. So here is what we're asking of you today.
Tonight, not someday, not Monday, tonight, we want you to do one thing.
Take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and answer this question honestly. If I could look back on this year from the end of it and feel genuinely proud and satisfied, what would I have done differently starting today?
Don't filter it. Don't make it sound good. Just answer it honestly.
And then pick one thing from that answer, just one, and do something, anything, toward it before you go to sleep tonight.
Not tomorrow, tonight.
And then come to the comments and tell us what you wrote, what the one thing is, because saying it out loud, even in a comment, makes it real in a way that keeping it in your head never does.
We will be reading every single comment, and we will be rooting for every single one of you.
If this episode hit you somewhere real today, please share it. Send it to someone who you know is living on autopilot, someone who needs this conversation. It might be the most meaningful thing you do today.
Subscribe if you haven't. We're here every week with conversations that go deep on English and on life.
And before we go, here is your thought to carry.
Please.
You are not going to get this time back. Not this hour, not this day, not this year. But right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can close this and go back to the same patterns, or you can decide quietly, firmly, just for yourself, that the way you spend your life from here matters, and that you are going to spend it like it does.
The time is going to pass either way. The only question is what you build with it.
Build something that is yours.
Build something worth looking back on.
This is Sophia.
And this is Jason.
Signing off from the English Connect podcast.
We'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves out there. And please, put the phone down sometimes. Go live your actual life.